Stop everything you're doing. Forget the lies you've been told about relationships. Forget the toxic advice about money, looks, or some magical pickup line. What if I told you that you're going about it all wrong? What if I told you that everything you've been told about women is a lie? Women don't care about your six-pack, your paycheck, or your car. No, the truth is much simpler and far more powerful. It's something 99% of men will never figure out. They'll keep chasing, failing, and wondering why it never works. You, though, are about to learn the secrets that will change your entire approach to relationships forever. You want to become the man she can't stop thinking about, the man who stays in her mind no matter who she's with or where she goes. It's time to stop playing by the rules of weak men. If you think buying her gifts or telling her she's beautiful is going to make her obsessed, you're already on the wrong path. What you need to understand is this. Women crave a man who doesn't need them, a man who is completely and utterly in control of himself, a man who doesn't chase. Women aren't drawn to what you think they want. They're drawn to power, self-control, and mystery. And here's the secret. When you stop chasing, when you stop seeking their validation, you become that man. Stick with me for these few minutes, and I'll show you exactly how to flip the script, how to use the ancient wisdom of Stoicism to make any woman obsess over you. It's not about trickery. It's not about manipulation. It's about becoming a man so powerful, so in control of himself, that she can't help but be drawn to you. Ready to change your life? Let's get started. Number 1, control and confidence. Most men are emotionally unstable. They may not realize it, but they let their emotions control them every day. Think about it. You send her a message, and if she doesn't respond immediately, you start panicking. You wonder what went wrong, second-guess yourself, and before you know it, you're feeling anxious, maybe even desperate. This is the problem when you let your emotions dictate your behavior. You lose control, and women can sense that. Women don't want a man who's constantly reacting emotionally. They want a man who can stay calm and composed, no matter what happens. This is where Stoicism becomes your greatest ally. Stoicism teaches us that the only thing we can truly control is ourselves, our thoughts, our reactions, and our behavior. Everything else is beyond our control. When you learn to master your emotions, you stop reacting to every little thing and start responding with intention. And here's where it becomes truly powerful with women. They notice when a man doesn't lose his cool, when he doesn't react emotionally to their every move. They start to see him differently. They start to respect him more, and most importantly, they become more attracted to him. So how does this work in practice? Let's break it down with a real-life example so you can see just how powerful emotional control really is. Let's say you've been texting a woman you like, and one day she suddenly stops replying. Hours go by, maybe even a full day. Most guys would start to panic. They'd check their phone every few minutes, hoping for a response. They'd start overthinking everything they said, wondering if they did something wrong, and eventually they'd send another message, something like, "Hey, did you get my last text?" Or worse, "Did I do something to upset you?" But that's the exact opposite of what you should do. You see, when you react like this, you're showing her that you're emotionally dependent on her response, and that's a turnoff. Now, what would a Stoic man do in this situation? He'd stay calm. He wouldn't even think twice about the fact that she hasn't replied. He knows that whether or not she responds doesn't affect his value. He has other things to focus on: his goals, his hobbies, his own self-improvement. And when she eventually does respond, and she will, he's not fazed. This is the power of emotional control. By not reacting, you're showing her that you're not needy, you're not desperate, and you're not affected by her actions. And this is what sets you apart from every other guy she's used to dealing with. Think about it this way. When you don't need her to respond, when you're not constantly seeking her validation, you become the man in control. She starts wondering why you're so calm, why you're not reacting the way most guys would. And this creates intrigue. It creates mystery. She starts thinking about you more, wondering what's going on in your head. That's the kind of emotional power you want to cultivate. Number 2, why most men fail. Desperation is one of the biggest reasons men struggle in relationships. When you're desperate for her attention, when you're constantly trying to win her approval, you're giving away your power, and women can sense it. Desperation is like a neon sign flashing, "I need you to validate me." And the moment a woman feels like you're relying on her to make you feel good about yourself, she starts losing interest. Why? Because desperation is weakness, and women are not attracted to weakness. They're attracted to strength. When you're constantly texting her, constantly checking her social media, constantly trying to get her attention, you're showing her that she's the one in control. And no woman wants to be with a man she can control. Women are biologically wired to seek out strength. They want to be with a man who's confident in himself, a man who doesn't need constant validation from her. This is where most men go wrong. They think that the more attention they give her, the more she'll like them. But in reality, the more attention you give her, the more you push her away. So, how do you break free from this pattern of neediness and desperation? It starts with changing the way you approach attention. Here's how. Let's say you're following a woman on social media. Every time she posts a picture, you're one of the first to like it. Maybe you even comment on it, trying to get her attention. You're constantly reacting to everything she does online. And guess what? So are 100 other guys. You're blending into the crowd, just another guy chasing her. But here's what you should do instead. Nothing. Don't like the photo. Don't comment. Don't even bring it up. Why? Because you're showing her that your attention is valuable. You're not just handing it out like every other guy. You're making her work for it. By not reacting, by not giving her the validation she's used to getting from other guys, you immediately set yourself apart. She starts wondering why you're not like the others. She starts thinking about you. And that curiosity, that's what drives attraction. Most guys are too desperate to withhold attention. They're too afraid of losing her. But when you hold back, when you show her that you're not desperate for her validation, you become the man she wants to chase. This doesn't mean you ignore her completely or play games. It's about showing her that your life doesn't revolve around her. You've got bigger things going on. You've got your own goals, your own purpose. And when she sees that you're not dependent on her attention, she'll start to see you differently. She'll start to value you more. Number 3, the power of ignoring her. Now that you understand the importance of not giving away your attention too easily, let's talk about one of the most powerful strategies you can use to create attraction: knowing when to ignore her. There's a psychological principle that most men never grasp. Ignoring her at the right moments can create an irresistible pull. I'm not talking about playing mind games or being disrespectful. I'm talking about showing her that you're not always available, that you're not going to drop everything for her. Women are used to men chasing them, giving them constant attention. When you're the guy who doesn't do that, you instantly stand out. Think about it. If you're always there, always responding immediately, always giving her your time and attention, she starts to take it for granted. She knows you'll always be there, so there's no need for her to put in any effort. But when you pull back, when you give her space, when you ignore her at the right moments, she starts to feel something different. She starts to feel curiosity. She starts to wonder why you're not reacting like every other guy, and that curiosity turns into attraction. So how do you apply this strategy in a way that feels natural and authentic? Let me show you how. Let's say you've been talking to a girl for a while, and things are going well. Then out of nowhere, she starts pulling back. Maybe she's not responding as quickly, or she's not as engaged in the conversation. Most guys would panic. They'd start texting her more, trying to get her attention. They'd try to fix the situation, but that's not what you should do. Instead, you do nothing. You give her space. You let her pull back, and you don't chase her. You keep focusing on your own life and let her come to you. This is where most men fail. They panic when a woman pulls back and start chasing her harder. But when you do the opposite, when you give her space, she starts to wonder why. She starts to think about you more because you're not behaving like every other guy she's used to. And that's what makes you different. That's what makes you stand out. Women are attracted to men who aren't always available, who don't make them the center of their universe. By ignoring her at the right moments, you're showing her that you have your own life, your own goals, and you're not going to drop everything just for her. And this is incredibly attractive to women. It shows strength. It shows confidence. It shows that you're a man who's in control of his own time and energy. Number 4, developing a fearless mindset. One of the most powerful lessons you can learn from Stoicism is how to develop a fearless mindset. Most men are driven by fear. Fear of rejection, fear of losing her, fear of not being good enough. And this fear shows up in everything they do. It shows up in the way they text, the way they talk, and the way they interact with women. But here's what Stoicism teaches us. Fear is the enemy of success. When you're afraid of rejection, you're giving her all the power. When you're afraid of losing her, you're acting from a place of scarcity. And women can sense that. A Stoic man, on the other hand, doesn't fear rejection. He doesn't fear losing her. Why? Because he knows that his value doesn't come from her approval. He knows that whether she stays or goes, he'll be fine. He doesn't need her to feel complete. He's already complete on his own. And this is the kind of mindset that women are irresistibly drawn to. They want to be with a man who's confident in himself, a man who's not afraid to walk away if things don't go his way. So how do you cultivate this fearless mindset? How do you stop letting fear control your actions? Here's how you do it in a real-life situation. Imagine you've been talking to a girl for a few weeks, and suddenly she starts pulling back. Maybe she's not texting as much, or she's not as interested in hanging out. Most guys would freak out. They'd start texting her more, trying to figure out what went wrong, and they'd end up pushing her away. But not you. You stay calm. You don't let her behavior affect your emotions. You keep focusing on your own life, your own goals, and you don't chase after her. You know that if she pulls away, that's her choice. But it doesn't change your value. When a woman sees that you're not afraid of losing her, when she sees that you're not desperate for her attention, she starts to respect you more. She starts to value you more. Why? Because you're showing her that you're a man who's in control of his emotions. You're not letting fear dictate your actions, and that makes you incredibly attractive. Developing a fearless mindset isn't just about women, it's about how you approach life. When you're not afraid of failure, when you're not afraid of rejection, you become unstoppable. You start taking risks, you start putting yourself out there, and you start achieving more. Women are drawn to men who are fearless, men who don't back down in the face of adversity. And when you develop this mindset, you become the kind of man that women can't help but be attracted to. Number 5, master rejection and become unshakable. Rejection is inevitable in life and in relationships, but most men let rejection destroy their confidence. They take it personally, and it affects the way they see themselves. But here's the truth. Rejection isn't about you. It's about the other person's preferences, their mood, their situation, and it has nothing to do with your worth. A Stoic man understands this, and he uses rejection as fuel to grow stronger. Every time you face rejection, you're building resilience, and the more resilient you become, the more confident you become. Let me show you how this works in real life and how you can turn rejection into your greatest advantage. Let's say you approach a woman at a social event and she doesn't seem interested. Most guys would walk away feeling embarrassed, defeated, and maybe even avoid approaching women in the future. But not you. You smile, thank her for her time, and move on to the next person. Why? Because you know that her rejection isn't a reflection of your value. It's just one interaction, and there are plenty of other opportunities waiting for you. The more you embrace rejection, the more confident you become. Rejection is just a part of the process. It's not something to fear. And when you handle rejection with grace, When you walk away without letting it affect your confidence, women notice. They see that you're not easily rattled, that you're not dependent on their approval. And that strength? It's magnetic. It sets you apart from every other guy. Here's the key. Rejection doesn't define you. Your confidence isn't based on whether or not someone likes you. It comes from within. And the more you build that inner confidence, the more attractive you become. Women want to be with a man who's unshakable, a man who doesn't let rejection knock him down. When you master rejection, you become the man who stands out, the man who's in control of his life and his emotions. So here's the bottom line. If you want to become the man she can't stop thinking about, the man she chases, the man she's obsessed with, you need to stop focusing on her and start focusing on you. It's not about playing games. It's not about pretending to be something you're not. It's about genuinely becoming the man you were always meant to be, a man who's in control of his emotions, his life, and his future. When you stop chasing, when you stop seeking validation from women, you become the man who stands out. Women are naturally drawn to men who are self-assured, confident, and in control. A man who doesn't need them to feel complete. That's the essence of Stoicism, and that's the path to becoming irresistible. Now it's time to take action. Stop living in fear. Stop letting rejection hold you back. Start embracing the principles of Stoicism and watch as your life changes. Leave a comment below if you're ready to start your journey. Hit that subscribe button if you're committed to becoming the man you know you can be. This is your moment. The power is in your hands. It's time to take control.